section 5.3, the goal is to write linear equations in point-slope form. By definition, point-slope form is just the equation of a non-vertical line, y minus y1 is equal to m times the quantity of x minus x1 that passes through the point x1, y1 with a slope of m. So again, point-slope form of the equation of the non-vertical line through a given point x1, y1 with a slope of m is given by y minus y1 is equal to m times the quantity of x minus x1. In example 1, they want you to write an equation in point-slope form on the line that passes through the point 3,2 and has a slope of 2. So your first step is to write the point-slope form, which is y minus y1 is equal to m times the quantity of x minus x1. So in this case, m is 2, and x1 and y1 are 2. So all you got to do is plug in 2 for m, and then plug in 3 for x1, and then 2 and 4 y1. So simplifying this, you're going to get y minus 2 is equal to 2 times the quantity of x minus 3. Moving on to example 2, here they want you to graph an equation in point-slope form. So here you have y minus 2 is equal to 1/2 times x minus 2. Because the equation is in point-slope form, you know that the line has a slope of 1/2 and passes to the point 2, 2. In this case, your x1 is 2 and your y1 is 2. So first things first, you do want to plot a point at 2, 2. Next, you do want to find a second point on the line using the slope. Notice here that the slope is 1/2. So first things first, find 2, 2. All right, plot that. So there's the point 2, 2. Next, you want to use your slope. So the slope is 1/2. So your rise is 1 and your run is 2. So using the point that they give you 2, 2, count up 1 and then 2 over to the right. And now we're at the point 4, 3. And then we can also do the same thing and count up 1 over 2 from 4, 3 and land at the point 6, 4. And then all we got to do is just connect the dots. And then make sure you have arrows. All right. So moving on to the checkpoint, they want you to complete the following exercises. Write an equation in point-slope form with a line that passes through the point -3, 5 and has a slope of 4. So writing out point-slope form, you've got y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. M is your slope, which is 4, and then x1 and y1 are -3 and 5. So plugging those in, you're going to get y minus 5 is equal to 4 times the quantity of x minus -3. If you do have two negative signs, make sure you rewrite that positive. So now simplifying this, your final answer becomes y minus 5 is equal to 4 times the quantity of x plus 3. So there's the equation of the line in point-slope form. Moving on to problem number 2. Here they want you to graph the equation y plus 1 is equal to 2 times the quantity of x minus 1. Note here that this is not quite in standard form. We have to take care of this plus sign right here. We're writing this to get y minus the opposite of 1, and that's equal to 2 times x minus 1. So the point that we're going through is going to be the point 1, -1. And that comes from this one right here being x1, and this -1 right here, which is your y1. So we know we're going through the point 1, -1. Next, you want to identify your slope, which is, in this case, 2, the number in front of the quantity of x minus 1. Go ahead and plot 1, -1. and that's going to be down here. Your slope is 2, so count up 2, and then 1 over to the right, and then again count up 2, 1 over to the right, and then connect the dots with a nice smooth line, and make sure you have arrows on those. Moving on to the last example. Example 3, they want you to use a point slope form to write an equation. So looking at the graph, first things first, we've got to find the slope. So in this case, we've got the points 4, 2, and then -2, -3. To find your slope, you can take y2 minus y1. So in this case, you're taking -3 minus 2, and then dividing it by -2 minus 4. If you go ahead and simplify that, we're going to get -5 over -6. And simplifying further, we do get 5/6, which is the slope. They do give us a graph, so if we go look back at the graph, we can calculate the slope without even using the slope formula. So using those 2 points, you can see that the rise is going to be 5, and that your run is 6. So your slope is still 5/6 just by looking at the graph. Next, step 2, you want to write the equation in point slope form, and we can use either point, it doesn't matter. Both points are on the line. If you choose -2, -3, you're going to get y minus -3, which is equal to 5/6 times x minus the opposite of 2. If you simplify that, you do get y plus 3 is equal to 5/6 times x plus 2. If you use the other points, 4, 2, you're going to get y minus 2 is equal to 5/6 times x minus 4. You can go back and check that the equations are equivalent by writing the slope-intercept form of both equations as a comparison. So just doing this as a double check, you've got y plus 3 is equal to, after you distribute your 5/6, you get 5/6x plus 5/3. And then if you subtract 3 to both sides of your equation, (5/3 minus 3 is -4/3, so you do get y is equal to 5/6 x minus 4/3. And then looking at the other line, you'll see that that's the same line. Go through and distribute your 5/6. You're going to get y minus 2 is equal to 5/6 times x minus 20/6, which is 10/3 when you simplify that. And then if you add 2 to both sides of your equation, you now get y is equal to 5/6 x minus 4/3. All right, so you can see that both forms of the point slope form produce the same slope-intercept form of the equation of the line. This does conclude section 4.